As we all know, hunger is the in thing in Nigeria right now as a result of the lockdown. Be your brother's keeper. Be a good Samaritan. Show some love. Share what you have with others. The lockdown is not a period that got everybody smiling. Share some love. This show, The Lifeline on ECWATelevision, brings together the needy and the giver to share in the moment of the lockdown. This show is on ECWATelevision every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 4 p.m. It's a live show, so you can call and make your contributions.
Well, we are live on the Liveline, and we say greetings from this end of the Liveline. Well, it's yesterday was the expiry date of the 2 weeks lockdown that the government gave, or the federal government issued as a directive before the reopening of the society or the Nigerian economy generally. Now, there are agitations and people are wondering what next. The Presidential Task Force has submitted its report to President Muhammadu Buhari, so everybody is on the wait to see which way we would go. Is it going to be a fresh journey for us, or is that the end of the lockdown? Now, our topic for discussion today on the Liveline is end of the road or fresh journey. What is your take on that? Which way would you rather go? Well, I've got on set Solomon Sambosabe, Donald Weze, and Joyce Iyakwari, our panel for today.
Thank you, Valia.
All right, so end of the journey, end of the road, or fresh journey. Which option would you go for? Would you take the two, or you go for one, and why?
Do we even have a choice of which to pick? But I feel we don't really have a choice. If we're looking at end of the road or fresh journey, we have to look at them side by side. If we're talking end of a road for what? Is it for the lockdown, just like you mentioned, or for COVID-19? I wish it's COVID-19 though. Or or the fresh start for a new life without COVID, or fresh start for a new life, COVID being part of our lives. So which one are we really talking about? If I'm to pick, I'll pick the two. End of the road, yes, for the lockdown for COVID-19, because the federal government has already given the directive that, okay, after the extension, this 1st June, after the extension, we will not be having, but they handed over the everything now to state government. Like, state government are supposed to start handling this, and they have every right to either put lockdown, extend it, or not. Then if we're talking about the fresh start, do we have cure for this COVID-19, or we are talking fresh start for our economy and for the things that we've been talking on the Lifeline, after life after COVID-19, how to go about it, the guidelines, are we adopting it? Is it part of our life already that we are starting that fresh journey?
What's your take on it, Mr. Donald? You were not here on Friday.
Yes, I went.
Let's hear your voice on the topic, end of the road or fresh journey.
I was watching at home, and somebody was saying that they miss me so much. So I am back. I am sure I'm no longer.
You're
welcome.
Welcome back.
Well, end of the road, and then fresh journey. End of the road, I guess, for the management of COVID-19. It used to be the federal government, and now from every angle of town, and the media, you hear people say that the federal government has now shifted responsibility of the management of COVID-19 and how it's been ravaging the nation. As of today, we have 10,000 and a few fractions cases in Nigeria. So, end of the road, yes, you would say, for government at the center level, having now pushed it to the states. A new journey, because state governments, do they have the capacity? That's the question I'm asking. Do state governments have the capacity to manage COVID-19, even with the federal might and all kinds of resources that were coming in from the federation account to help cushion the effect and give state governments direction? Now everything is likely being restricted to the states. Now, if that is the case, I think that this second phase of the journey is not going to be something that people will smile about. Not forgetting that all over the place you see people, nobody is even worried about the presence of COVID-19 in the first place. You go to the market square, people are still going around doing fashion with the face mask. Instead of covering the nose and the mouth, they are hanging it around the neck.
Sometimes the attire of the main clothes and the face mask tally.
So it's now like a fashion, you know. And I am wondering because we have 60 local government areas in the Nigerian nation. It is said that the 20 local government areas in Nigeria, they have 60% of the total number of COVID-19 cases in this country. So if there are 20 local government areas in Nigeria and we have more than 10,000, then I think that for the federal government, what they should have done was to, if they would hear my voice, is to now take charge of these 20 local government areas and make sure that the federal might is there, while the states are now helped in one way or the other. But it's a new journey for all of us.
Now, Solomon, states have been left to grapple with the issue of whether reopening or choosing not to. They were still waiting to get the decision of the president of Nigeria. That's talking about President Muhammadu Buhari. So, using Plateau State as an example, there is the case of the permission that people are given. If you're not on essential duty, you're either on COVID-19 duty, or yes, you're maybe on an essential assignment somehow, and you need a pass to move around. So Plateau State is now saying that those pass they had given, or those permits that they had given before now, has expired. So if you don't have the new permit starting today, then you're not expected to move around. What's your take on that?
Well, it goes with
in line with end of the road or fresh journey in Plateau State.
It goes with my thought, the topic generally, because I pick a new journey, a new journey in the sense that just like you mentioned, Plateau State now is saying, okay, you have to get a new pass. So automatically they are telling you, if you are in Plateau State, is a continuation of the lockdown. Maybe sooner or later we'll begin to see some certain restriction based on what you say concerning, based on what Donald say concerning some local government, you know, having a chunk number of the people that are affected, like in Plateau State. We know in Just Not, that's where we have more cases. So we're beginning to see possibly maybe Plateau State would tighten up the restriction towards that local government, and then other local government a little bit of relaxation we may see. We are not too sure with what the government will say, but for now they are standing on the existing lockdown that we are in already.
You see. Let me quickly cut in here. We have a situation that is very dicey. If Nigerians had listened and followed the protocols that were laid down by the PTF, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, and the National Center for Disease Control, we will not find this kind of a figure. And that now we are beginning to think and say, did we do well? End of the road, a fresh start. Now, I want to say that if you don't know where you're coming from, you may not likely know where you are, and then you may not even likely be able to plot a graph for the future and say, this is where I want to be. We have a problem here. And I think that Nigerians played the ostrich. This is the problem that is facing us. What are we supposed to do to tackle the problem? And it was always business as usual. You go to the borders of states, you see people, when they say there's no movement, people are moving from one state to another. And now we are smack deep in a situation. Government is now saying, okay, today is the 1st of June. There should be a new direction. Which direction? Is it the lockdown? One of the bodies, the Nigerian Medical Association, says that there should be strict adherence of the lockdown. Because even with the lockdown and the curfew, COVID-19 in Nigeria is still increasing in numbers. Imagine the situation where the lockdown is not there at all. Then we are going to have a cake of gunpowder in our hands, and someone is playing around close by with a matchstick.
And if I may add to that, you asked the question that Solo answered and Mrs. Donald too actually answered. I think if the Plateau State government is saying, okay, the former passes that we had are not, what is the word right now, are not valid now. That you need a new one is because of the violation. A lot of people have gotten their hands on these passes.
Yes.
People that don't have any business with the pass have gotten their hands on it. Maybe they photocopied. I don't know how they've gotten it. Then you see a lot of people outside. So many people outside, even during the lockdown, and they are not on essential service, and they are not on what's the other word, like COVID-19 duty. So I think it's a fresh start now for the Plateau State. Fresh start in that aspect of adherence to lockdown and also fighting this COVID-19, because states are left to fight on their own right now. So we have to fight it hard. I know we are not just talking about Plateau State. I know there are other states that have their own measures too, that they've given the directive. Yes. So
even before the expiration of the 2 weeks, already the governor have extended two more weeks.
Yes.
And the way he's handling the situation, that's why people are calling him such names, here and there. But he is mindful of the health of the people that he's governing, and which is very, very important. It's very key. He doesn't care. People are attaching religion to it and saying all sort of things, but he is saying this thing is important. Stay at home. Let's see how together we will fight this disease, even if it means that this disease will ravage the whole nation. But let it be, when it comes to Kaduna, let it be that the casualty is not much, and let it be because of our collective effort as state, and then we're able to fight that.
Okay, as Nigerians wait for the decision of the president, now, if at all, it's either we go one way or the other. We have to take one, either the end of the journey or a fresh start. If at all the government decides that it wants to end the lockdown, would it be justifiable at this time?
I don't see that coming, Valia. I don't see
Why?
that coming, because initially we said this in this on this platform several times. The measures the government took in the initial, later on they discover there are certain things that were missing, in the sense that they forgot the grassroots. And this thing we are talking, where when the problem start, it will be difficult for you to handle. These are the people that need the information the most. And last episode, we were talking about breaking this information, how you will take care of yourself. That's the prevention first. I believe, that was done earlier, we wouldn't have been in this situation. But now they are saying the fresh journey. That's where I start. I see a fresh journey in the sense that the federal government already have given us a bit of the direction they are going. Now they are saying states should take over. What does that mean? They are now breaking it. Because before, you will see that every governor is waiting for Buhari to say something, while the problem already is eating the state. But you are waiting for directive. But now, every governor will now sit down and look at it. Okay, now this thing have been watered down to the state. Now, we'll begin to see, because if you check all this work...
could that be a case of the central point, that is the national point, losing control over the states? Because sometimes the central point will say, okay, that I'm talking about the federal government now, we will issue a directive and say that this is how you should go about this, like the Salah celebration, the festivities, that you shouldn't gather to pray and shouldn't do this. But we saw different, it was a different case in some states. Some states complied. Is it that the federal government is losing grip of some of the states, or it's better if they are left?
They are not.
It's better if they are left
Valia.
to take charge of the situation in their
No,
state.
Valia, you see, Nigeria is a federation. That's what our constitution says.
Yeah.
And so we have 36 federating units plus the Federal Capital Territory. And each of these federating units has a governor, a deputy, a House of Assembly, and they have executive council at the state and at local government levels. The buck stops at somebody's table. And if we are a federating unit, then where state governors and local government chairmen and all the paraphernalia of office and peoples that are working in government are waiting for Mr. President in Abuja to give them a direction, then something is very wrong. You cannot become a leader of people and then be bereft of ideas as how to solve problems, especially health. Now, let me add something in the new journey that we are talking about. Much as I expect that government has now divested responsibility from the federal government to the state, we still have the problem of security, because if you must reach down and get to the root and get people together so that they can work together in understanding of what government is doing, you must also be mindful of their security. There are killings still going on around, and COVID-19 is still staring us in the face. So my take is very simple. Government is doing the right thing. The federal government has done the right thing, because where governors in the states have been pretending and playing the ostrich and waiting for the federal government to take decisions for them, now they are being stared in the face. You went to the people. You asked them to vote for you to become their governor. Now it is the time. In other nations of the world, governors are taking this bull by the horn, and they are pushing it and even challenging the central government and saying, no, this is peculiar to my own state and this is how I'm going to solve it. But it is very interesting to find out someone who has executive powers in a federating unit now waiting for somebody who is an executive at a federal level to now give him direction. The cart is being put before the horse.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the federal government giving the directive or giving it, passing it over to the state to fight this disease. I don't think there's anything wrong. Look at when the pandemic hit Nigeria. It was the state governors that stood on their own to start seeing how they can curb this in their state. We had the fumigation on the Plateau state.
Yes.
We had in other states, Kano and all. Then the lockdown with the Kaduna state governments, even putting some barricades on, to really protect the borders. Then we had a CCTV planted. That was in the directive from federal government.
Yes.
Federal government, if I may add to this, I think the interest was more on Lagos, Ogun State, and what's the third? Abuja.
Abuja.
So the other states governments,
Kano.
yes, then the letter stretched to other states. So I don't think there is anything wrong. You are the head of this state. You have to do something. You can't just like you rightly said, you can't just wait till someone said, okay, the executive powers says, okay, you should do this and not do this. You have a state to protect.
Well, end of the road or fresh journey, which would you rather go for, is what we're examining on the live line today. Now, the calls will be opened at 4:30. So we'd like to hear your views and comments as regards the topic of discussion. If at all we decide to go for a fresh start in Nigeria, what do you think would constitute the fresh start, judging by our situation in Nigeria? Well, the Liveline is a program where we get to bring the needies and those who have together in order to help out and help alleviate the sufferings of the lockdown at this period. And then we expect your calls at 4:30. Now, talking about our situation, our circumstance in Nigeria, with the issue of we exhausting what we have, especially those that are less privileged, and then talking about welfare. If we were to go on a fresh start, what do you think will constitute the policies that will govern the fresh start if we're to start afresh in Nigeria after the lockdown?
You see, let me take the first salvo. Archbishop Ignatius Kaigama of Abuja Archdiocese has called that there should be the lockdown should be opened up so that Nigerians can go out and fend for themselves. And that is the kind of a cry that a lot more highly placed Nigerians are calling on government. But I see a danger ahead, and the danger is a very simple one. The haves know how to protect themselves. The have-nots don't know how to protect themselves in this country.
How?
The man who works every day and goes out and spends the whole of almost 12 hours working very hard under the sun, and then at the end of the day, he is paid 1,500 naira or 2,000. He doesn't have enough to even save. So he buys something and goes home with it. Tomorrow, he comes out again. And there are millions of them on the streets of this country. Unlike those who have stashed it somewhere and can only just go use their ATM card. If the banks are opened a few hours of the day, they just go grab money, and they know how to source for these food items, and then they buy in bulk and keep. So they can sustain their families 3 months, 6 months without even blinking their eye. But the millions of Nigerians who don't have a source of income, by extension, it means they must go out. And that is where this fear is coming. Are we ready for the lockdown to be opened completely? My take, no. Relax it a little bit. For the peculiarity of each state, look at it dispassionately. Because human lives are involved here. Let's look at it dispassionately and say, okay, this is how we are going to solve the problem of this particular location, and then go with it with every arm of strength that we have. However, even when the federal government was there and was trying to support, there were palliatives. And on this platform, we said that palliatives have not gone anywhere to anybody's place anyway. Even though there are people who claim that they have received palliatives, it's fine.
Okay, but the government, the federal government especially, is trying to create job opportunities, and it's one of the burning issues on the table of the federal government. Would that be the right thing to do at this moment?
I don't think the federal government should raise anybody's hope at this moment. We should be left to do what we've been doing. A lot of people have already lost their jobs. What is the federal government doing about that? Is it a new creation or looking at those that have lost their jobs already? If that strategy is good for them, fine. I'm not against it. But we should look at it. Okay, we are opening up the economy. You just asked the question, the fresh starts, how do we go about it? What are the, maybe the federal government is putting in place to see how we can sustain ourselves. Let's remove palliatives in this issue right now. Let's look at our social responsibilities, as myself, protecting myself, my families, my friends, when I'm outside. Let's look at social responsibility too, in discussing, just like we said the last time on the show, discussing or sharing my health status with someone so that I can protect the person. And the person can't be ignorant around me, right? Then we can actually look at how we can help each other too. It's not wrong for someone to be wealthy. It's not wrong to have and store. You are planning for the rainy days. It's not wrong. People shouldn't be guilt-tripped into that.
If you were in government, if you're in government and you're supposed to design a welfare package for the people right now, if we were to have a fresh start, reopen and start afresh, what advice would you, or what action would you rather take very fast before job opportunities, creating job platforms?
I will bring back the palliative into the structure. Let's see how we can go to families. Okay, we can start with states. Let's bring it out to state. go into the state, see how many families or what's the population of that state, because you can't give out something if you don't know how many people are there, how many people are governing. So you start from there, then you can go, families are the best if you want to share something. How many families are there in the community, how many are there in a larger community, then you can start sharing this palliative. You can come and you'll be transparent about it, because if you do it or not, people that maybe got less, will start feeling, okay, they were more, but it was hidden or something like that. If you can be transparent about it, people can come, take what they want, or if you want it equal, you can share. We can, okay, I'm advising the government now, we can share it equally. I think the palliative is very important. Then the government should look into the people that have lost their jobs. I know CBN the other time were against Access Bank, firing their staff. I don't know how they've gone about it, but we should also look at that, see the people that have lost their jobs, and see how you can really help in sustaining their life. They have families to take care of. I think that's one way that we'll go about it.
Okay, your thoughts before we open the lines for contributions to come on.
Well, to me, I would say we have come to stay with the reality of COVID-19, whether with palliative or not palliative. The basic thing is that taking responsibility. If you are a father, you know what already you have gone through. If before you are spending life now you know. If you are not the saving type, now you know. But if you begin to say whether you were ready or not, because if you look at it, even the federal government have said, okay, for now there's this loan that the state government are paying through the federal government account. Yes. But now the federal government are saying, okay, I've given you 1 year so that you'll be able to see how you will manage your situation, particularly the civil servants that you have and some of the projects that you are doing, so that it won't be because of this COVID-19, people will start losing their job just anyhow. But it will surprise you. Still with that, some state governors are paying their staff based on percentage. It's unfair.
Well, calls are already coming in, but we'll pause at this moment and we'll be right back and we'll begin to take your calls. The live line is live on ECWA TV Africa.
Leaders and the Lead shows every Tuesday and Saturday by 7:30 p.m. on ECWATelevision Africa, with repeats on Thursdays and Mondays 1 p.m. Keep watching Leaders and the Lead on ECWA TV Africa. The Midday Show live on ECWATelevision every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with repeats on Monday by 10 p.m., Wednesdays by 9 a.m., and Fridays by 1 p.m. The Midday Show live only on ECWA TV Africa. Keep watching ECWATelevision Africa for wonderful and inspiring episodes of The National Talk every Thursday and Friday by 8 p.m. with repeats on Friday by 1 p.m. and Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Keep watching National Talk on ECWATelevision Africa. Watch the dailies every Monday to Friday by 9 a.m. with repeats by 3:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. daily. The dailies only on ECWA TV Africa. Keep a date with the Lifeline on ECWATelevision Africa every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday by 4 p.m. with repeats Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m., Saturday 8:30, and Sunday 9 p.m. Keep watching the Lifeline on ECWA TV Africa. Watch today's live on ECWATelevision Africa every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. with repeats on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 p.m. Keep watching ECWATelevision Africa.
many are still down.
When you have illicit cash on you, you cannot buy anything at all to eat. So it is turning into another thing. The aftermath is that people are beginning to die of hunger and not about the fear of the virus anymore.
Watch The Lifeline live on ECWA TV Africa, 4 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. From Saturday, 18th April, you can call +234 806 260 7760. You can also reach us on all our social media platforms at ECWATelevision to make your contributions live on the show. ECWATelevision, the winning station.
It's still the Liveline, and we'll be sharing our thoughts on the topic, end of the road or fresh journey. Now, I'll quickly do a recap if you had missed the earlier part of the discussion. Now, the end of the 2 weeks lockdown break ended. It ended yesterday, the 31st of May. What will the government do? We're still waiting. We don't know which way the government will go. Either it will announce or pronounce a new lockdown phase, or we would have a fresh start altogether. So whichever way it goes, we want to hear your thoughts right now, coming in through some calls. I've got one caller already. Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Curtis and I'm calling from Ghana.
All right. Oh, how is Ghana this afternoon?
Everything is fine here.
Okay. How go ahead and make your contribution, please. Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you. What's your name, please?
I'm also called in Nigeria. I mean, that's what I did. So, when I came, that was when.
All right, we're discussing end of the road or fresh journey. What's your contribution to this topic? Hello? All right. Hello, we've got another call. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
My name is ECWA. I'm calling from Makodi.
Okay, please go ahead and make your contribution.
I just want to know about this COVID-19 and the issues on it.
Okay, go ahead.
So, about this COVID-19, we can't actually know if this is real or if it is not real. Because come to think of it, within the circle of, within the circle of Makodi, cases the place to have gotten, one is not too certain about them. So the ones happening in other side of Nigeria, we don't know.
Oh, the call has ended. He's still, so you know there's a case of still doubting if COVID-19 is real, or whether COVID-19 is real or not. I'll just pick this call. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good evening. Please let's know your name and where you're calling from.
Master Kure, calling from Kaduna.
All right. How is Kaduna this afternoon, Master Kure?
Kaduna is cool and calm.
All right. Let's get your thoughts.
Honestly, I just want to contribute on this COVID-19 thing. I tend to agree with the European countries because they are showing life onto us. But it comes in terms of Nigeria, my country, that happened to be born and brought up. I don't know how they got it wrong in this country. You only hear this man died, that one died, this one it was the other showing directly life. And coming to Kaduna, I've been locked down over 2 months now. There's no any palliative, nothing. Even if it is a dog, gentleman in the house, you tie the dog for over 2 months. You cannot give him food. How do you expect him to survive? So my appeal is that to the federal government, if they are hearing you people, they should leave us. COVID-19 will not kill us all in this country. Rather, everybody has his way that God has designed for him, he will die. So let them just release us. Honestly, I'm a family of 7. I have 5 children. But till I went out before I would get what to give them. I lost my job since 2014. So they should just allow us. Please, 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 we are begging them. Anybody that COVID-19 carrying him and his God. So they should just allow us. That's the appeal I'm appealing.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. We appreciate
You're
it.
doing a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let's take one more before we respond to that. Hello. Please kindly turn down the volume of your TV set. Hello.
Hello.
Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Mr. Barnabas from Kano.
Okay. How is the situation in Kano?
Kano, we are getting it a bit better now.
Oh, wow. That's good to know. All right. Please go ahead and make your contribution.
Okay. My contribution is in respect of what is happening.
Go ahead.
Honestly, we, as citizens of this country, we are not finding it very easy. It has been so difficult right from the beginning, and the federal government have not been doing it the way we expected. As a citizen of this country, we are entitled. We expect the government to be proactive in a situation like this, so that at least these palliatives that we are sharing, we'll be hearing about it. Most of the indigenous of this state, especially Kano as a whole, they are getting it. But when we come to other people from other states, we discover that nobody is saying anything.
Okay, so if
we are stranded. We are actually stranded.
All right,
so we
so
expect at least when we are in a situation like this, we expect at least the government to be fair to all. We expect at least fairness.
okay, are you saying that some people are giving the palliatives while others are not giving? Is that the case in Kano?
Yes, that is exactly what is happening.
So what's your call to the government or people responsible in the distribution of this palliative? Quickly.
Okay. I want to call especially to the federal government. In a situation like this, we need fairness. We need justice. Because as I'm talking now, there are many of my people. There are so many people around us actually stranded. They don't go out, nothing to eat, to feed their family. It's a problem. I'm not actually talking about my own, but I'm talking about the children, the people out here in Kano. Okay. They are actually suffering. So I want the government, the people concerned, I'm talking about the task force in charge of this
COVID-19.
They should be aware to look inwards. Places where there are a lot of problems. Reach out to everybody. Everybody feel that is a citizen of this country.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate. Hello? Hello? I can hear myself. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Hello?
Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, please, what's the name and where is your location?
Okay. Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Ruben from Jos.
Okay. Ruben, please go ahead and make your contribution.
Okay, it's about this COVID-19. We here in Plateau, we don't know how the palliative is going.
Is it a question that you want us to respond to?
We heard that in Narguta side they share palliative and some places, but we in Rukubaro there is nothing
and nothing like that here.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, sir. We're with you.
So I want to appeal to the government. This lockdown is too much so that they can help allow people to go out to look for their daily bread.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. So we're beginning to receive calls from people that are experiencing one hardship or the other as a result of the lockdown. And a lot of people are saying that it's a fact that the government or relevant bodies distribute these palliatives, but it's not fairly distributed.
You know, that you will always see.
We have another call.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Good evening.
Hello? Good evening.
Please, where are you calling from and what is your name?
My name is Gideon.
Okay, please, Gideon, go ahead and make your contribution.
Yes, really, the issue we are facing now is a very difficult issue. Some of us that have work, we cannot go to work because of this COVID. It's getting to over 3 months now. Now, okay, you are now coming with fresh issues to keep people at home. How do you want these people to survive? And now we've been hearing on the news, the number keeps increasing. Is it by keeping people at home that you will solve the problem? So what I am expecting the government to do is this. You put a preventive measure on ground. People should go about their normal work. Then you see how they will go out to pay for themselves. Instead of waiting for this government palliative measures that will never come. I also want the government to ease this lockdown so that people will go about their normal business at let them put a preventive measure on ground in their offices. Okay. And we found it and everything will work out well. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We've got another call. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello, evening.
Please, what's your name?
I'm Marcus. I've been calling from Plateau State.
All right, Godwin, please go ahead and share your thoughts with us.
Hello.
Hello, please share your thoughts with us. We're listening.
Okay, I'm calling from Plateau State. I'm Marcus.
Okay, go ahead, please.
What I'm saying in a nutshell is, I don't see how the government is setting matters concerning this issue of COVID-19. Because I don't think that the government really cares for the masses. If they care for the masses, it's not that this thing is a global pandemic. It's not, they wouldn't have cared. Because this person, whenever they are sick, they rush them out to abroad to have their distance. But now the way is now blocked. And now use the next business to run their political business. So this is a political business. They should ease the lockdown. Anybody that the disease started, if by the grace of God, if the person can have the way out, so have the way out. Because I don't see any help that they are doing. They are not giving us any help. The government is not helping us, no palliative, nothing. People are just suffering. Let them easy. Anybody that catches the disease, you still choose on herself and have the day. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
All right, thank you so much for calling. A lot of people are already calling for the end of the lockdown and for us to have a fresh start.
We can always blame the government all the time. When you give people the opportunity, they always blame the government. But we should always remember that we have our own responsibility. If this thing is being eased, if the lockdown is being eased, how responsible will you be?
How responsible will you be? Hello? Hello? Uh-oh. Hello? All right, please go ahead.
He's giving me the opportunity to continue.
Yes.
Then we should always...
Another is coming. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. This is Anna.
Fine, please, what's the name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Nasarawa.
Okay, please go ahead and share with us your thoughts.
So I want to contribute about this lockdown, issue of this lockdown. The issue of lockdown, we initially, federal government are trying their best, but what we are seeing now, they have politicized it. the money that they will be releasing money every day, every week, and it will not reach the poor. The richers are reaching themselves with this money. So what I would advise that they should ease the lockdown. Everybody should go out and find for what his people they will use to feed their people, because the government are not supporting. In Cameroon, you see what their government are doing. In Kenya, all those small countries, they are supporting their people, but ours is difficult. Nothing is working. And even the money they give them to distribute to the poor people to help them relate to they pocket the money, and everybody, people are suffering. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. People are suffering.
If we do a survey, you will know that Nigerians are not entitled, and Nigerians like to take care of themselves. They don't like to depend on anybody, even if it is the government. So I think that's why we're having these much calls of easing the lockdown and people going out to really fend for themselves, to be able to provide for their families.
Well, and someone called and was saying that he is not sure if COVID-19 is real, because
COVID-19 is real. You know, it's something that you can just Google and you will see what is happening.
It's not even about Googling. Just watch television. This COVID-19 has taken over the stations. Yes. Everywhere you go to now, any channel, except the music channels.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Kindly turn down the volume of your TV set, please, so we can hear you clearly.
Hello?
Hello, good evening. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Seem like he's not ready. Hello? 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 Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, if the healthcare workers will come out and say, okay, they are contracting this disease, you should believe it. If we could lose someone, a prominent person in Nigeria,
there's an international call coming in. Oh, we have. Okay. Hello? I can hear myself. Can you turn down the volume of your TV set? Hello? Hello? Good evening. Good evening. We can hear you. Hello?
Hello?
Good evening.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good evening. You can't hear me because the volume of your TV set is still high. Please move away from the TV or you turn down the volume.
It's all right. I'm Victor.
Okay.
Hello, I'm here to clearly.
All right. Please go ahead and make your contribution.
Yes, I'm Victor calling from the state.
Okay.
I believe the government should end the lockdown and allow businesses to flow. This disease has come to stay, and we too have taken responsibility to overcome. So the government should look for a positive way to assist our citizens. If we stay here, it is time to go out to fend ourselves. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, too. We've got another international number. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Fine. Please, what's the name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ghana.
Okay. How is Ghana this evening?
We are doing fine.
Okay. Please go ahead. Let's hear your thoughts on the topic.
I'm watching your program.
Okay.
But first of all, on your topic, it's good that we see the sign in between all of you. No protection. You need to protect all of yourself.
Okay.
All of you.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
So that we're coming from you people.
Thank you.
I want to see masquerades on site.
He's so concerned about our welfare here on set. I'll pick this call again. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
We're fine.
Yes, I'm calling from Shaman from Kaduna.
All right, please go ahead and let's get your thoughts on the topic,
Well,
end of the road of
issue
fresh
End
journey.
of road of fresh journey. Honestly, the government needs to do much because people are suffering. The issue of palliative, as people always complain, don't say it on media. We've never seen it on ground. The houses or the families that are supposed to benefit from this palliative are not being given that palliative. So people are being locked down, people are suffering. So people are bothered with the concept of government. We deal with the government to look inward, to know that these are human beings they are controlling. And these are human beings that have families, and they need to be given the best of treatment. We are not animals, for God's sake. The lockdown is good. They think they will do it orderly. By giving palliative to relieve people, honestly, nobody will complain about it. We need our safety. Our welfare is paramount to us. If our welfare is being overlooked by the government of the day, honestly, it will not help us. I pray that go intervene in the issue of Nigeria. Shaman from Kaduna.
Thank you so much, Shaman. Our welfare is very important, whether it's the end of the road or a fresh start. Hello. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is it the live program of ECWATelevision?
Yes, you're onto the live line. Let's know your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, I am Mr. Stephen Ba. I'm calling from Jos here, from Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria.
All right, please go ahead and make your contribution.
Well, talking about the end of the road or fresh journey concerning the COVID-19, I think the journey we're just starting. Because when you look at the effort the government is making and the effort we ourselves as the populace are also doing, we are not trying to beat up or follow up actually what the state government and the federal government are asking us to do. Unless we, the audience, and unless we, the populace, agree to do the major things that we're expected to do, maintaining the physical distance, wearing on the face masks, and a lot of other things to prevent the spread of this disease. Unless we agree to do that, otherwise we are just starting the journey. So I'm advising that I think the populace should try the possible best to maintain what the experts ask us to do, so that we can help in the combat of this the spread of this COVID-19. You know, we have lost a lot economically and otherwise. So if we don't adhere to this, then I think the journey we are just starting. You know, this is just a repeat of what happened in 1918 concerning the Spanish flu. And so it's just a repeat of it. You know, that time, history had it that a lot of people tried their possible best as there was this lockdown. People complained, hunger and a lot of things, and they refused to obey to simple instruction. And when the government then allowed people to go on, when the issue was not arrested, you know, there was massive spread of that disease. Up to more than 15 million people were infected, and more than 5 million people died. So this is just a repeat. So a lot of people are saying we don't believe that this thing is real. And some are saying this is something that's physical. It's something everywhere you go, it is everywhere in the world. It's what is actually happening. So I wonder why people say this is not existing. So just maintain the actual thing that we need to do, and then we will end this journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. This is really words of wisdom. Let's get your closing remarks before we round up on the show today.
I think that people should tell themselves some truth. If you wait for government to come tell you that this is what you're supposed to do, the information is all over the place. Until we tell ourselves some truth and abide by the protocols that have been laid, and they are very simple protocols. Hunger never killed anybody before, and I don't think it's going to start now, even though death is a necessary end, and it will come when it must come.
Well, for me, there's nothing wrong in gathering wealth for yourself. There's nothing wrong in being wealthy. but how are you helping someone that is in need? This is the right time to really show that you are a human with feelings, with emotions. See what your neighbor is struggling with. Is it food? Is it the basic necessity of life? Please provide for your neighbor and someone that is in need today.
Yeah, I will go with you Joyce, too. And to add on it, the true religion is a religion that takes care of the needy. So I urge you to do same. Take care of people in need around you.
All right, so in closing, I'll pick this last call and we'll round up. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, am I up to ECWA TV?
Yes, you are the last caller on the line before the show ends. What's your contribution, quickly? Uh-oh, I can hear myself. Well, on this note, we come to the end of the show for today. Whether the government decides to have a fresh start or we decide to end the lockdown, be responsible, take responsibility. Do well to check on our social media platforms. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media platforms. You can also watch a repeat broadcast of this episode of a program on our Facebook and YouTube channel. It is ECWATelevision. Do well to visit that site and you'll get more information on the Liveline. Thank you so much for doing this with us. And from all of us here on the Liveline, we say have a wonderful day and be responsible. Do ensure that you protect yourself and stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.
As we all know, hunger is the in thing in Nigeria right now as a result of the lockdown. Be your brother's keeper. Be a good Samaritan. Show some love. Share what you have with others. The lockdown is not a period that got everybody smiling. Share some love. This show, The Lifeline on ECWATelevision, brings together the needy and the giver to share in the moment of the lockdown. This show is on ECWATelevision every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 4 p.m. It's a live show, so you can call and make your contributions.